Rev up your engines!
Well, if you want to join the 50 miles per gallon club, there are 8 affordable cars you can buy today that get over 50 miles a gallon. Now, of course, they're all hybrids. The 2022 Toyota Prius Eco, which has a base price of $25,000. The Hyundai Elantra Hybrid Blue, which has a base price of $24,500. The 2022 Honda Insight, which has a base price of $26,000, all around $25,000. This is a low price for cars today. The average car is almost 40 grand these days. Then, of course, it's a 2022 Toyota Corolla Hybrid, which is a base price of $24,595. The 2021 Toyota Camry Hybrid LE, which is a base price of $28,000. I'd be interested in that one if I was going to buy a new car. Of course, I'm too cheap to buy a new car. And also the 2022 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid Blue, which has a base price of $28,700. A little more expensive. And also the 2022 Kia Niro. These are all hybrid cars. And they're all around $25,000 to $28,000 base price. If you want to get phenomenal gas mileage, because we can see the price of gas is only going to go back up. That's what always happens. And as the price of gas goes up, people want to get better gas mileage. And these things all get better than 50 miles a gallon combined gas rating, which is pretty good gas mileage when you think about it. Well, those of you who are rotary engine fans, it turns out that Mazda has postponed the use of their range extender Mazda rotary engine for their MX-30. They're not using the rotary engines to drive the cars anymore. They're using them to generate electricity as a backup. So if you run out of power on the electric car, the rotary engine would turn on. It would generate electricity that would recharge the battery and run the car at the same time. Still run at full speed because they're running on battery power. Mazda said they were going to put them in next year, but now they say they're not going to. They still say they're going to in the future. Who knows if ever going to come with something like that. Now in Japan, some of the people are saying Mazda scrapped the whole idea of a range extender because then the battery would have to be too big and the vehicle would weigh too much. But Mazda's still trying to claim sometime in the future they're going to use the rotary engine as a range extender to make it go further. BMW had one in their electric car where they had a little BMW two-cylinder motorcycle engine, did the same thing. It ran a generator that then powered the electric BMW. Now they're saying sometime between now and 2025 they are going to have this range extender, and so I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for these rotary engines. It's just an ancillary thing anyway, and who knows by 2025 what people are going to be buying. They might give up with lithium batteries and go to some other system. Who knows? And then a system to recharge it won't be needed at all. If you had a fuel cell car, you don't need a range extender. Who knows what's actually going to come out, but they're not going to have one out, as they said, anytime soon. The Mexican 1989 says, I have Bluetooth problems. I got a 2018 Ford Fiesta. It connects and loses connection and reconnects. It does it over and over until I fully disconnect my iPhone. I didn't have a problem until my friend connected her Samsung phone. I tried many times to reset it and fuse out. Nothing. How do I fix it? The problem is you got 2018 Ford Fiesta. Ford software on those things was pretty crappy. I remember even before that, when I had brand new Fords I was road testing, sometimes it took me over an hour to get something set up on their systems. They are not very good systems. And your problem is you add an iPhone, then your friend added an Android, and that confuses the software in those stupid things. If I were you, take the battery terminals off for 20 minutes and I turn the headlights on. Now the headlights won't come on, but that will drain everything out of the system. Everything will be drained. All the capacitors will be drained. And make sure you have the radio turned on too, so it'll be drained of anything. Put it back on after half an hour and pray that it works right, because if it doesn't, I can just about guarantee you it's a software glitch, because Ford software and those Bluetooth stuff is garbage. They're behind the times with that stuff. I mean, I'd get in other cars and I'd put in my Androids, which is all I use, and they'd work pretty fine, you know. I've seen $200 Android head units you could buy on Amazon that work perfectly fine with Androids, with Android phones. They had no problems at all. That's more a software thing than anything else. The idiots all got raveled in with the iPhone. When they added the Android, it just doesn't work right. The opposite happened with car repair software. I'm a mechanic, and that's why I have only Android phones, because Android software is best for car analytics. They work great. Now they have stuff for the iPhones, but it's all kind of translated, and you'll often get bad data because the translation's done wrong. Like I might have mine on, and you look at the coolant temperature, it'll say it's 189 degrees, and then you look at it on an iPhone, it'll say it's 2,000 degrees, which is impossible. They interpret it wrong, and in your case, it's the stupid Ford software in the system that's doing it. It worked okay with your iPhone, so you try to reset it, like I said. Don't ever let anybody put an Android on it, because it can confuse it. Erase her Android, or his, whoever put the Android in, erase all that data from the Android. So you delete this, and maybe that'll help too. Well, you know, old Elon's always talking about self-driving cars, blah, blah, blah. Well, some people are thinking that the future self-driving isn't going to be Elon Musk Teslas, but it'll be more like Domino's pizza robots that they're using. Zero occupant vehicles. AI and Neuro are the big delivering ones so far. I saw the Neuros when I was in Houston. Some of the Krogers were using them to deliver stuff. Take the AIs. It's only 4.5 feet tall. It weighs 150 pounds. And they're delivering pizza in Austin, Texas with them. There's 24 of these REV1 vehicles total in Austin and Ann Arbor, Michigan, and they're trying it out delivering pizza. So the big boys, even Uber and Lyft, have sold off their autonomous driving, and Tesla keeps promising stuff that never come to fruition, which is typical for him. Makes a lot more sense with these other guys. Start small. See how it works out small. Delivering pizza. Now, the top speed of these things is only 15 miles an hour. All right, so they're going to create traffic jams. People aren't going to like these things. You're driving a road and there's some stupid little pizza thing being delivered at 15 miles an hour. Let me tell you, some people aren't going to like that. It navigates on the edge of the road, so you'll use a bike path. You know, I suppose the bike guys will get mad too. They go faster than 15, right? It's supposed to drive at the side of the road, but still, where there is no bike lane, it's going to create traffic jams. People aren't going to like it. And even at what they have now, there's a dozen or so pilots that are in the control room that if they get to weird intersections, they take over from the self-driving ones. So even those are a way to go to be truly self-driving. Psycho says, just wonder, what would be an honest price to replace the hood and bumper painted on my car, 2013 Toyota Camry SE? The hood and the bumper are just bolted on. You could easily do it yourself. You can buy aftermarket ones if you want. Anybody can bolt them on and off. Even somebody that doesn't have that much experience with just basic hand tools can do it in less than an hour. The problem is getting it painted. Paint work costs a lot of money these days. I've seen people pay as much as $400 or $500 just to get the front bumper painted because it's plastic and it has to be painted correctly with special paint. The lion's share is going to be getting a hood and a bumper painted, and of course realize it's not going to match the rest of the car perfectly. You just can't on a car that's 9 years old. You can't match the paint perfectly. Price around with guys to say, hey, you know what do you charge to paint this? And since you're doing a hood and a bumper, well, at least you can only see the front when you're at the front, and the side you won't see the hood too much. So as long as it's sort of close, it'll look okay, but it'll never look perfect unless you paint the whole car, because you can't match 9-year-old paint. It's impossible. The human eye can see like 1.5 million different shades of color, and we would notice. I see it all the time when people are buying cars. They say, yeah, the car was wrecked. It's been repainted. How can you tell? I said, well, look at this. And they say, oh, yeah, you can really see. So it's never going to look perfect. So just price around in your area and see what people say. If you went to a professional body shop, you'd be paying at least a couple grand getting the new parts and having them all painted and stuff. So, you know, it's better if you can go aftermarket, buy it yourself, buy the parts, and then let them paint it. Or if you want, get them painted. Some body shops, after time, when they're not busy, or a guy who paints them on a weekend for fun and a little bit of cash, you can give him the hood and the bumper. He'll paint it. They're happy to paint them when they're not on the car. It's easier. Then you can put it together yourself. That'd be the best way to save money. Freedom Dawn says, do I have engine blow-by? I got an 07 Chevy Cobalt, 155,000 miles. I noticed when I took the oil cap off, there was air coming up to blow up a balloon. How long will my car last, and what causes it? Here's the thing. Modern cars often build up a reasonable amount of pressure. They're not made to be run with the oil cap taken off. If you find that thing doesn't burn all that much oil, that's just normal because they build up pressure. But if it's really worn out, you're getting blow-by because the piston rings are worn out, you're going to start burning a bunch of oil. So if it burns oil, yeah, your engine's just flat wearing out. But that's nothing you can really check these days. Taking the oil cap off doesn't mean that much. They're a pressurized system anyways. And just to be sure, change your PCV valve. It doesn't cost much. Go to like AutoZone or someplace, it's like $8. Get a PCV valve, because if that's stuck, shut, then it'll build up more pressure. It's supposed to open to get a lot of the pressure and then burn it in the intake. It could be as simple as your PCV valve is bad, so check that and change it. They don't cost much. Johnny Remick says, what's a good RPM when driving on a highway with no pedals depressed? I got a Lexus GS 300, shows about 2,000 RPM when going 60 to 70 miles an hour. Is that good? Of course it is. Your car is geared. Each gear is made to get good acceleration and the best gas mileage for that kind of acceleration. Now, when you're no longer accelerating, you're going 60 or 70, as long as your car's in top gear and the transmission's working right. Now, let's say you had one that instead of 2,000 was going 3,000 RPM. That would mean your transmission wasn't shifting into the top gear, and that would be a problem. Yours is perfectly fine. They're all set up for a combination of power and gas mileage, and when you're cruising at higher speeds, they should always be in the last gear for the best gas mileage. Unless you're, going up a hill and it's going to downshift, then it'll rev higher until you get to the top, and then it'll go back down to normal. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, Remember to ring that bell.